Scorpio Collective, welcome, welcome. I'm Nikki, your local vegan terrorist, and we're going to do a love reading to see what's coming next for you. It may or may not be your divine counterpart. It may or may not be your twin flame next in love. So we'll read for the masculine, the feminine, and the mutual energy, any advice that's in there, any complications that are in there. Could be dealing with a Leo or someone with strong Leo placements. Maybe you met in Leo season. There was a walking away. Somebody chose themselves in the masculine side with the Eight of Cups. So maybe in August. Maybe you got out of something masculines in August. That's a yes. That's a yes. Lady in the water. And it just came out again. Ace of Swords. So I feel like I'm connecting with a masculine collective here that had to choose themselves. They had to leave something behind. There was just like Two of Wands. Yeah, there was never any movement. It was like circular arguments, anxiety, sleepless nights, just constant competition, jealousy. That's ugly. So we're going to put that back just because it stopped you from making a decision for a while. I think it stunted you, the Hierophant. Maybe you are dealing with a Taurus or have strong Taurus placements. Ooh, the Emperor. What's up? This catapulted you. Something with a cat. This catapulted you into, winter Scorpios, like not associated with cats, particularly black cats. Which tells me you could be dealing with a Queen of Wands. There's that Leo energy again. Ugh. Nine of Wands, Five of Cups. I'm putting this in the past. I just feel like that's the message with the masculine. You're putting things in the past. Once you decide that, it catapults you into the frequency of the divine masculine, which is the Emperor here. Which is the Magician, the divine alchemist. This is someone who understands the four elements. This is someone who has done the shadow work of all the major arcana, typically starting with the Virgo. The Hermit, going within, doing that self-inventory. Why do I keep attracting people like this? I don't like arguments. I don't like that. Why do I keep attracting these people? Maybe you dealt with a fire sign, right? Because that Queen of Wands in here has a black cat next to her throne. But you're really wanting, and you could be dealing with a Virgo, but there's, again, that Hermit Virgo energy. This is agape love. This is independence. This is like a full glow up. And I use that in Libra, so you could be a cusper have Libra placements, something in Libra season. Maybe you went to the library, or like you looked, maybe you like to read, and you could have read some self-help stuff. Also, you could have like podcasts. It's like this is like self-healing. All right, because to come from this of like being exhausted, having to choose yourself. This Nine of Pentacles is somebody who, this is like pre-Empress energy. And yes, it's for the masculine side, but you have to get into your divine feminine energy as well. You cannot be a true divine feminine or masculine if you do not understand how energy works. The Magician understands how energy works and elements work. They're the elementalist, so you or your person could be a life path far. The Magician is the one. It's the one. That is Gemini, Virgo, and Taurus. So this is also someone who has gone through the understanding of the importance of the Lovers for Gemini, the importance of the Hermit, that shadow work, that self-orientation. I'm getting orientation, like learning about it's like you go for a job, and maybe you started a new job, right? Maybe you started a job and you're going to be the manager now. Or you got promoted or something, but there's something with like a change in your work that also maybe helped your finances, which helped you have room to do this work, right? Because if you are working, you know, all around the clock and you're exhausted from that all the time, it's really difficult to find the time or the space to make that space to take care of yourself and build your self-esteem. So there was this like exhaustion here with the Wounded Warrior. The Nine of Wands, it was just like this constant exhaustion. So you went from this Nine of Wands to the Nine of Pentacles. And this is also feels like singlehood, being single for a significant amount of time. Seven of Wands, yeah, somebody did not want wands. And I think this feminine, we're going to read for the feminine now. Yeah, maybe you didn't want to be, maybe neither one of you want to be married. So there could have been a divorce or a long-term separation here. The feminine could be divorced with the Queen of Swords. Somebody had to cut out something out of their bloodline. With the Queen of Swords, it could be something on the maternal side. Oh, on the maternal side. Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, you both did an inventory. Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands, Ace of Swords. This is just casual connections. This is here for a good time, not a long time. It is Sagittarius energy. Ooh, Queen of Wands. So you could be dealing with Sagittarius. Maybe something with Sagittarius season. But Queen of Wands is here to clarify and I said that with the black cat. In this deck, she doesn't have the black cat. It's in the Rider-Waite Tarot. But but the Queen of Wands is matching this Emperor here. But why isn't she in the Empress energy? Because the Queen of Swords, so the Queen of Swords sets a boundary against these fuckers. And I am getting fuckboy. Like, that's what these dudes are here for. This feminine is here with two swords. The Queen of Swords only has to say no once. No is a complete sentence. This is someone who, look, she's crying behind that veil. She's got blood on her sword. And she needed to pull out the Queen of Wands because the Queen of Swords did not feel confident enough to really say no, or was struggling to just say no. So this is the Queen of Wands and look at this glow up here. I'm gonna just go with it because I think it's kind of it's overused, but it's an internal glow up. Those are the best kind. Now, oh, and the Queen of Pentacles. Could be children involved. Ten of Wands. You both have walked away from something that was just a burden. It was exhausting. It felt like a war. But this is more of like not doing for others. Ten of Wands is the burden of putting other people's bullshit on you. Nine of Wands is it's the Wounded Warrior, so it's somebody who's kind of like in the chaos of their own making. I mean, both of them are in the chaos of their own making. Well, this is more like a people pleaser. So this is someone who was probably made into this through childhood. Somebody who didn't say no. Somebody who didn't stand up for themselves. Someone who didn't have the self-worth. And we had the Queen of Pentacles in reverse there for a second. And we have the star at the bottom here, Aquarius, for healing. So this feminine's path had to heal from, like, they genuinely were the victim until they weren't. There's a point where you go, you know what, I'm not a little kid anymore. My parents, so I feel like with the blood on the sword, this feminine had to cut out family, friends, like everybody was just putting their bullshit on them. Bull, Taurus energy again. But the Queen of Wands is someone who's like, they get what they want. And the mantra, what I want wants me. So if you are sick of this, that's not what you want. What you want, feminines, Queen of Wands, is this Emperor here. So, to attract an Emperor, one must be an Empress. We have the Six of Wands, or not the Six of Wands. Six of Wands is self-recognition and confidence. Six of Swords, this is someone coming in like the rescue. Maybe somebody was waiting for that. Maybe somebody was waiting to be rescued. And you experience feminines, you experience a lot of knights, and you thought, oh, this is someone who's coming in with a lot of fast energy, and you think a knight is going to fight for your love. They're going to rescue you. Could be a Virgo involved here, because we do have the Hermit. And I'm thinking first knight. Richard Gere is a Virgo. But an Emperor doesn't come in and they're not going to like do the work for them, for their partner. They only pursue, and he's sitting here, he's not moving. This masculine's not going to pursue just a queen. And that might sound a certain way to somebody, but it is like if you are going for a job, in orientation, you learn like what you're going to, and this could be mirrored. Maybe you are just focused on work, or maybe you are looking at dating like job interviews, you know, like fitting for the job. If you want to be a doctor, you can't just go for your associates, you know. You got to do the work. That's the Hermit. The Hermit starts the work. They see where the work needs to be done. They go in with this lantern. They isolate and identify and take notes on, because you know Virgos love to take notes, and make lists. So they're going to get all the information about themselves, what they actually want. And I feel like there's a desire to work with the community with the Six of Pentacles here. It's like, I want to have enough. I want to be financially stable and independent enough to help others. Yeah, okay. Nine of Wands again. Page of Swords and the Queen of Wands. They both came out upside down in the reverse. Page of Swords in the reverse. The Queen of Swords. That could be the past energy. But the feminine is still in this very guarded place. They are presenting as queens. Two of the queens, but their Queen of Pentacles was in the reverse. So we have the Eight of Pentacles here. The Magician, Ten of Cups, and Judgment. Okay. Okay. So I was going to say there's maybe the feminine is really working through some stuff here, but then I feel like, no, they are actually very compatible. We have the Two of Pentacles, the face-off. Magician is presenting here. So this is a feminine who, with the Ten of Cups, you want the Ten of Cups if you are the Queen of Cups, is what I'm getting. So if you were not the Queen of Cups, and then even though the Queen of Pentacles came out in reverse, it didn't come out, but was in the shuffle in reverse, it's like you can still be an Emperor and Empress and get to that frequency of being an Emperor and Empress and still have pieces of you in reverse. You can still have things that need to be worked on. Those never go away. So this feels like a feminine who's kind of in the Page of Swords, because initially when I saw the Page of Swords and the Queen of Wands in reverse, I thought, okay, this masculine's not going to watch this feminine anymore. They're not interested in watching this feminine anymore because they're not an Empress, right? Because that's what was rolling around like a shuffle. Words come out like a shuffle as well. Okay, so it's like some come out and they don't come out all the way, or they come out and you read them and you're like, nah, you can't really put words back, unfortunately. Like you can put cards back in a deck, but it's like, if it's meant to come out, it'll come out. So there could be some sort of like halted tongue thing here with the Queen of Swords having 2. Maybe this is just a very shy feminine. I think maybe this masculine misunderstood this feminine, and now, just like I am experiencing, I'm starting to understand this feminine a little bit more, because we have Judgment here. There was a misjudgment. Because this, maybe when you came into contact, the feminine was not... And the Emperor can be a little bit stubborn. This can be a bit arrogant, right? So yeah, you can be an emperor, but you still got work to do too. You know, so it's like you both came in and there was a misjudgment here. Maybe the feminine put the masculine up on a higher pedestal, like, oh, this masculine's too good for me. Maybe they didn't feel physically attractive enough. Maybe they didn't feel like they were financially stable enough. But with that Queen of Pentacles in reverse, it tells me that something about this interaction or this connection shook the feminine's self-worth. But then they were kind of like, oh yeah, I am the Queen of Wands. And maybe this masculine was just watching and not taking any action. Could have been this coming together that really prompted this masculine to resilient raspberries. Warning, childlike spitting may occur at random longevity 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2. And then it is 1. So when I was looking at the numbers, it's 0, 1, 2, 1. It's like, oh, going back to square one. So there was a little bit of a setback, and the setback happened at 2, which is with the blue there, 2 of Cups to me. So it's like when these two came together, maybe you didn't think you had the resilience. Maybe you didn't think that you had the, because the masculine coming out with all of that nonsense energy in the beginning feels like maybe I don't want to do this again. Because this Page of Swords and Queen of Wands is over here with this 9 of Wands. So maybe this masculine, maybe the masculine dealt with somebody and this feminine reminded them of that. Could have been a mother, could have been other lovers, right? I mean, we basically just replicate our parental dynamics in our love life until we realize that that doesn't work, unless it does work. But you wouldn't repeat it over and over if it was working, right? You'd probably be in some sort of connection. Maybe somebody got married young or got coupled up young, and it just didn't work. And they could have the same name, same color eyes, they could look similar, they could sound similar, they could do similar things, they could have the same zodiac sign or whatever. There could be some sort of similarity between the masculine's past feminines and the feminine's past masculines, and the two of you when you come together. And that might trigger a little bit of misinterpretation, judgment, prejudgment, and running, because we have the 7 of Wands. Crop swap. You're actually very compatible. Swap your incomplete crop for another's player's incomplete crop. And maybe both of you thought, oh, I have to be all the kings in the upright and all the queens in the upright, right? It's like if there was disorder or some sort of imbalance brought into your life that knocked part of you in the reverse. It reversed some of your ideology, your beliefs. It kind of like shook shit up for you, but it needed to be shaken up. It needed to happen so that you could reevaluate, what is my value? What is my worth? And get yourself back into this place of feeling like you are actually the master of your destiny, the master of your, the creator of your reality. And there's scales here. So the scales of judgment, there was some sort of karmic interference. Could have happened. You could have had some sort of karmic interference because you misjudged your twin. You fell for a false twin because the devil knows how to look like an angel, because the devil was an angel first, right? So it's like they know how to look like that. So with the Queen of Wands, wow. I'm just now realizing this is not the Queen of Wands in reverse. It's the Queen of Swords in reverse. And she has two wands. Oh gosh, two swords. Oh well. Yes, my very fancy hair clips. I use them for cutting hair. But yeah, keep that shit out of my face. Queen of Swords. Maybe you just cut your hair because we do have that glow up. But this Queen of Swords, her swords are in their own space. She's very decisive. She understands left and right. In reverse, it's confirming this Queen of Swords. This masculine's not going to pursue an indecisive queen that doesn't set their boundaries. So feminines, if you're out there like, I do set my boundaries, I set my boundaries super strong, then cool, then this isn't for you. But feminines out there who are like, yeah, I didn't really vocalize what I wanted, or I put them on a pedestal, or I didn't speak my truth because I'm very shy. It's like this feminine is transformed into something that is 21, very powerful. Maybe quit drinking, because I'm just getting 21 is when you can start drinking, at least here in America. And so, yeah, with the Ten of Cups, it's like there was some sort of misconception here. What is this misconception? Time in reverse. Why are these coming out in reverse? Are they all in reverse? Most of them are. They're kind of like half and half. 3 seeds. It was not the right time. Ugh, that's the most annoying thing. Divine timing. But it wasn't the right time. You were meant to reevaluate your worth. And I think feminines, you needed to, you know, because you can say, oh, my person should love me no matter how I look or whatever. But if you are obese, or if you are, your skin is dry, your organs are failing, I don't know why I'm getting that severe with it. But if you're not healthy and balanced, it will show, right? So it's not that you are not totally ripped or like bikini body ready. It's the fact that you're unhealthy when you meet this person, possibly. And if you attracted somebody, even this Emperor, because I do feel like there's something a little bit false about this Emperor. And maybe that's just the way the feminine was feeling about this masculine when they met. Like, oh, this guy's a guy, girl, whatever. But like this masculine over here is kind of a dick. And I get this sort of like they're just sitting here. They're not doing anything. If they're an emperor, wouldn't they pursue me? Wouldn't they be able to see that I'm an empress? No, they couldn't, because something in them was in reverse too. And that was something that they were not able to see this feminine for who they truly were. Maybe you both were putting each other up on pedestals. Maybe both of your foundations were shaken. Which means both of you, like, if you don't like things about your circumstances or you don't like things about your physical body, it's not like, oh, go out and get plastic surgery. It's just change it. Like, do something very simple to change it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I hate that word. I think that's such a stupid word, because I don't know what that means. And perfection, not imperfection. Y'all keep twisting stuff about yourselves into being imperfect. There's no fucking such thing except to the person that you are perfect for. You will be 100% perfect to that person. So, but you have to recognize yourself as being perfect. And that's part of divine timing, or trying to rush time, or like being a magician does not mean that you change your environment. It means you change your environment. You do that hermit work, you change that environment, and you can attract your person. there is some sort of like harsh truth that you both had to realize. Like, the truth here with this Nine of Wands, you were attracting this lower vibrational energy, or you were approaching feminines in this lower vibrational energy, masculines, because you were not being honest with yourself. Right? Like, oh, he's got a stick. He's got a stick here, but then you're going to bring a stick to a sword fight? And what is that where he's like, ching, 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 and he keeps cutting the... Oh, there's a fight scene where somebody has a sword, and the other person comes in with, like, a chair or deer antlers or something like wood, and they're going ching, 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 and they're just, like, cutting it down, and it's, like, getting closer to them. I'm getting that. If you know what movie that is or what scene that is, it's probably not just in one film, but I'm picturing one and I can't remember what it's from, but it's like the Lorena Bobbitt. And cutting out this cycle, cutting out this karmic cycle of these lower vibrational entities trying to come in like a flea and just suck your blood. They're just trying to take from you. Because that was what was really sapping your energy. I just want to get one more for the masculine and the feminine. One more for each before we get numbers. Wheel of Fortune. Divine timing. Oh, okay, so this is just timing. See how I made that sound super simple? It's not. I struggle with it all the time. I struggle with it all the human time, right? Don't we all? We want things when we want them. I want it now. But it wasn't time. This masculine was holding this place, whether they know it or not. Because I do feel like there's a little bit about this masculine that's kind of like, didn't realize their own power either. Because they're like, oh, I misinterpreted this. There's a misjudgment with this Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is over here, like, with their hands on their hip. Like, how come you don't know what I'm truly like? And it's like, because, and I just talked about this in the Libra reading, you're presenting as the Queen of Wands. You're presenting as something that you're not. Because maybe they were presenting as somebody that did not have boundaries with the Queen of Swords in reverse. And then the masculine found out very quick. Maybe the masculine approached with this Knight of Wands because they're like, I'm not really ready for anything anyway because I'm still dealing with my past stuff. I haven't cut that out. And the deer antlers, the deer is the Native American zodiac for Gemini, which is the lovers. So it is like cutting out old cycles of love. We have the Hierophant here. So it's like you do want to come together in some sort of union, in some sort of marriage. All right, the Hierophant represents traditions, marriage, but maybe you don't want to do it in the same way. Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. Could be another fixed sign that you are dealing with. What's going on with this masculine? Great. I was looking at the Emperor, like, what's this Emperor's move? And we have the Fool. This is not somebody, see, they're both, like, coming in. Maybe something with hiking. We have the mountains here. I often see it as water. Right now I'm seeing it as mountains. Yodelehi hoo. Maybe this masculine is going to present with some sort of words towards, or it could be writing some sort of poetry, song. Maybe they're sharing music. Maybe music is really important to you. Maybe there will be music playing when you meet this person, or you're going to invite this person out to go see some music, go enjoy some music together. Because the Fool, Yodelehi could be like karaoke as well. Because the Fool is someone who just, like, they just don't care. And not in a way that's like, I don't care about anybody else, or I'm like, careless. I'm carefree, right? This isn't somebody who just, tramples through everybody else's life and they don't consider that. This is someone who is, they're just aligned with their heart space. And I don't know why I've never really given that energy or gotten that energy from the Fool as far as like having to be careful or cautious. So maybe that's how the masculine was for a long time. They were very careful and cautious. In a way that just held them back. It just kept them in their seat. Like, yeah, you're an emperor. You've got all this emperor love to give. You're actually a badass. You're a divine alchemist, but you don't even put yourself up on your own pedestal. Here, it's like now they're jumping off. They're jumping off. This is somebody who's willing to humble themselves in the face of the divine, right? And the divine is this feminine. This union with the 10 of Cups here twice, right? Was that in Libra? No, it's here. Yeah, so it's like the inevitability of this is the 10 of Cups. It is emotional abundance, exuberance, joy, and it's people who, it's that, not the power couple that everyone's like, oh my gosh, look at their big mansion. This is what people really dream of. This is the divine power couple. These are the two alchemists who took a leap of faith towards love. And look at them, they're celebrating love. Maybe you may blend families, or you may have a family, or you may work with the community, something with maybe helping children around you, or helping the needy, helping those who are less fortunate, or the sort of underdogs, because children represent like the innocent. Being here, maybe being attracted to the title of my channel. Yeah, you could be doing something with like animals. And this gives me like a sanctuary. It is a sanctuary where your arms are open. You're free to live through your heart space, which is how we connect. So this is you're gonna create some sort of space, and you're going to model the type of union that people desire, because they're like, I just want to be in love like that. I just want to like, I'm getting The Family Man, which is my favorite Christmas movie, with Nicolas Cage, and where he gets a glimpse of his life with a college love, or yeah, so it's like a very young love, so it's going to feel very young. It is soulmates, past life. And maybe the masculine's having some sort of dream or glimpse, where they are going to see their person. Like, they're going to see what life could be like with their person. And maybe that's going to be the thing that... So feminines, here, if you're trying to attract... Because I know divine timing is a real buzzkill. It's like... But divine timing is a frequency. So put yourself on that frequency, feminines. Visualize the life that you want with your person. Visualize how it feels, how it smells, how it tastes, everything about it. Like, we've got these raspberries here. It's like resilience. Like, there's childlike spitting may occur at random. I feel like if you want a playful, jovial, light, exuberant love, then do things that make you... that hold the space for you to be childlike, exuberant, joyful, light, all of those things, right? Because when you're in that frequency, I feel like you're going to be meditating. Maybe you're thinking about your person. If you have your person's physical vessel face in mind, and that's who you feel that this connects with, cool. If you're like, I don't know, because you've just dealt with a lot of separations, you're like, I don't know, any one of them could come back and be my person. It's more about how they present. They have to present as an emperor. They have to present as an empress. So if you want an emperor, then get yourself on that empress frequency, and that will call them in. Because I do feel like the masculine, very specifically, is going to receive a vision, or they're going to see some sort of synchronicities that remind them of you, feminines, and it's like that's how they're going to know that this is their feminine. They're going to dream about them. So masculines, if you're wondering, same thing. They're I've only dealt with separations. I don't know which one of these could come together, or I don't really have I'm not sure if I have the hope in me for another connection. Please. Visualize, same thing. Visualize what you want. And maybe you both will be visualizing at the same exact time. Or you're going to be listening to the same song at the same time. Like where you pull up in traffic next to somebody, you look over and they're listening to the same song, and you're like, you see their mouths and you both kind of look at each other. You're like, yeah. There's this across, it feels like there's across lifetimes, across oceans, across time and space and all of this. We both just kind of like we're doing the same thing. We listen to the same song at the same time. And maybe it's not on the radio. I mean, do people still listen to the radio that much? So it may be something like, of all the gin joints and all, it's like, of all the songs you could have chosen, maybe you're both like on Pandora or Spotify or YouTube or something, listening to music, and it just happens to be the same song or the same artist. I'm getting Avett Brothers. Like you could just be listening to the same thing. I don't know. So that's very specific, but I'm just getting that kind of like synchronicity. And it almost gives this masculine no choice but to take a leap of faith, because they're like, this is too weird. I just dreamed about my feminine. I just dreamed about that person. I just saw their name 40 times today, or I just heard that song that maybe we heard when we first met. Maybe it was on the radio, and it's like there's some sort of divine nudge that comes in that is like too awesome to ignore. And so the going from the Magician, because when are we able to humble ourselves? When are we able to take a leap of faith? When we trust. And the only way that we can trust, maybe you don't trust in God per se. And I'm saying it like that because I feel like there's always skeptics and atheists and agnostics and people who are here. All right, the concept of that, like, let's stop limiting ourselves to, a big man in the sky with a gray beard, right? Which is funny because I am seeing that. So maybe one of you actually has a gray beard. So there's this kind of like wisdom here that's beyond the confines of whatever, which is very Scorpionic energy because it is Plutonian. You have that vantage point of like how ridiculous, meaningless everything is, but there's a beauty in how nothing matters, or that you're so small versus, Nellie, leave it please. Thank you, dear. There's a beauty in being so small, but still having such a purpose, like ants on an anthill, more fire energy, where it's kind of like they all play major roles. They're all communicating very important information back to each other. And we as big stupid humans might just go, oh, that one ant doesn't matter, but you do matter. Okay, there's something about that, like you matter, because Scorpionic energy can often slip into nihilism where like nothing matters. So you're just sort of like, you're death, tarot, which is all about evolution, but from an ego standpoint, as a terrestrial being, we often lose sight of how important death is for the rebirth. It has to happen for the rebirth, where it's not just an ending. It's not nothing matters, the end. We might as well just all like do silly things and be careless. It can very easily get to that point, but it's more, none of this matters. This is the only thing that matters. This love is the only thing that matters. And I feel like that's been your whole life's purpose, and maybe neither one of you knew it, but this coming together will prove to you, remind the celestial you that incarnated in order to come into this union, that's why you're here, and that everything that has built your resilience. And I think maybe you feel very like, people are like, you're so strong, you're so independent, you're so this, you're so brave, you're so whatever, and you're like, I don't know about that. I think I just kind of had to. There was no choice. Also, the movie Wild where Reese Witherspoon, she's an Aries, I believe, she goes, she walks the PCT, so maybe something about the West Coast. I'm like, but she walks that, and she's this farmhand who she misjudges anyway, like ends up helping her along the way. So there could be something about with this hiker's energy. We got the staff here, these people hiking. See, this person's relying on their staff to get the fuck out. This person, they've got their staff, they can use it. They've built the resilience. They can trust in taking this leap of faith because they know that they can. Well, they're talking about doing the trail. She's a solo female doing this trail, which is very dangerous. And anyway, it's a great movie, beautiful film, something with foxes as well. But there is sort of, and also having like a passed on loved one that's maybe leading the way. It could be a mother. You could be getting signs and synchronicities from that. But she's, on a path of sobriety, literally walking her way through this sobriety, through this rebirth. And she's talking to this guy, this farmer guy, and he gives her a ride to like the next point. And he's, says something about, oh, do you think I'm crazy? She says, do you think I'm crazy for doing this? He says, yes, I would never do it. I would have quit on day one. I've quit all kinds of things in my life. And she was like, do you regret any of them? He's like, I never had a choice. There was never a fork in my road, which I think is a bullshit statement, because there's always a fork. There's always a choice. And so maybe that's, maybe that's kind of something that's coming into play. It's like, oh, you do have a choice. There's something about realizing that you have the power, like, and you're doing something that's harder, but it's far more rewarding. And so, I don't know, maybe there was a lot of isolation. People didn't understand the way that you were processing. And maybe you cut out certain people in your life, and people didn't understand that. People questioned that. They thought you were crazy. And if enough people tell you, wow, you're crazy, you may start to believe it. So there could have been some of that. I feel like there were some pretty major setbacks in the, but those setbacks, those deaths, those towers, those realizations, those lessons, they all led to this building of this resilience that puts you on the divine frequency of attracting your person. And I feel like I want to get more into, celestial versus terrestrial, but I think y'all understand. You all are very crafty, intuitive, ethereal, celestial creatures. So we have the 4 here. Now the 4, I usually roll it with my red die, and the red die, maybe, I don't know, something about red dye. Maybe you're like cleaning up your diet. There was a cleaning up. I feel like we don't have to talk about that anymore. I don't know, maybe you just want recognition for that. Well, you're about to get recognition. You're about to get divine recognition, okay? So there could be this thing of like, where's my blessings? Your divine blessings are coming in, because the 4 is 1111. It is the elementalist. It's the magician. I mean, it's not the magician card. That's one. But it is the magician as far as the elementalist, the 4 elements, the alchemist, northeast, southwest. I do get travel involved here, possibly, or movement with the northeast, southwest, and the full traveling. And then we have the solar plexus, this inspiration, the color yellow. These are numbers. You could be seeing numbers in 4s. You could be seeing 1111. You could be seeing the color yellow. This could be very important to maybe the person that you meet, they're wearing yellow. There's yellow around. That song by Coldplay, Yellow, like, again, maybe that's the song that you heard, or maybe that's the type of music that you listen to. You have very similar taste in arts and music and possibly films. And maybe you're going to make music together. Okay. There's a lot going on here. I wanted this to be a shorter reading. But I don't know, that was just, we had to muscle through that, because that that divine timing blockage it's the biggest one. It's trusting in divine timing, and that very seldom matches up with our little terrestrial body idea of time or desire of timing. So, but it's coming together, and it's going to be everything. This love is your purpose. This is why you came here. I think that's what I'm going to title this. So anyway, I hope there was something in here for you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your support. If you'd like to support further, or if you would like to book a private reading, everything you need to know is in the description box. Ways to reach out. I am reconfiguring all of my social media, so it's going to get cleaned up a little bit more, and I will keep everyone posted on what's going on with that so that there's hopefully little to no confusion. Until next time, I wish you well.